Good morning, crafty travelers. It's kind of a cold, cloudy day here in Northern California. Today is April the 6th, 2023, and you can see I'm in my little car. I'm home, and today is going to be a crafty video. I'm going to my friend Kelly, who you've seen her before in my videos, to quilt my great niece's graduation quilt. This video will be up after she graduates, which will be right before Memorial Day. So I'm not worried about her seeing it. Kelly has a computerized long arm machine, and she is allowing me to come and quilt this quilt on her long arm machine. She'll set it all up for me, and we'll choose the computer design, which I'm looking for some kind of a daisy pattern because the quilt has flowers, daisies, and peace signs. Earlier in the year, I texted my nephew and asked him to ask her about the quilt design. I said, I want 2 colors and 2 designs. So she picked light pink and white and flowers and peace signs. And I did it. Here's the quilt top picture. The flowers were not hard. They're just a Dresden daisy. And there are daisies in the fabric that is the borders as well as the backing. And as well, there are other flowers. And the peace signs I had to construct myself. When constructing the peace sign design, I first constructed it and drew it out on paper. I have a ruler that is a half circle, so you fold the fabric or the paper in half, and I used a 10-inch line first and drew that, and then I used an 8-inch line and drew that. And I did it on both sides of the folded paper so I could see a full circle. Then I put a 2-inch line down the middle and out to the sides to make the peace sign. I cut it out, placed it on fabric, and hand cut out the fabric. It was only designed so it didn't hurt my hand. And then I machine appliqued the design to the background fabric, which is pink, and the border fabrics or the sashing fabrics were white. And I found this fabric for the borders and the background on Etsy, and the woman was selling half yards for $4.99. I messaged her and said I needed 5 yards and if I could buy it, and she wouldn't have to cut it, and she agreed. And for less than $50, I got all the fabric that I needed for the quilt. The pink and the white fabric I had in my stash, and the pink is a batik, so it feels good and firm. And I appliqued the piece designs by machine, as well as the daisy petals and center by machine. I don't do much handwork anymore because my hands are arthritic. So after getting all the quilt top done and making sure I had enough backing to allow for about 6 inches around the quilt top, I'm going to Kelly's. I will use that extra of the 6 inches around the quilt top as my binding. And then I had enough left over that I'm making her a pillowcase. So I'm on my way to Kelly's house. Stay tuned to see what happens. Thanks for watching. So Kelly is adjusting the bobbin for the quilt. I'm using a dark gray bobbin for the back. This is Kelly's long arm. What kind is it? Infinity Handy Quilter.
26-inch.
And she has a computer with it, and I will be choosing the computer design that I want to be quilted on the quilt. Okay. She's loaded the pink thread that I'm going to use on the top. And we have gray thread, dark gray thread in the bobbin. So we have marked the center of the top and bottom by folding the quilt top in half. This is the back. And she marked it with a little marker pen. And now we're loading it onto the quilt machine. This is the back of the quilt, so it is pretty side down.
See the weight of it?
Weight of it kind of pulls it down.
Pulls it straight.
Okay. Now she's pulled this leader fabric out and matching it up to the center. And you're going to pin that. And we're going to pin that. And then we're going to place pins all along the edge, correct? Yes. I'm going to do that, yes. So what I've done is I've pinned the backing to the leader fabric on the machine and in a horizontal position. So they're all pinned out. These are batting shears. And where did you find them?
Amazon.
Of course, Amazon.
On a Prime Day.
And they work great for you to cut batting, huh? I've also pinned the back of the quilt to the other side of the machine. Where Kelly is was the front side, and then this is the other side. So the backing is all pinned to the leaders of the machine. And she's got the batting ready.
To get it smooth and straight.
So she's rolling the bar, the ratchet bar, to get it smooth and straight. And rolling it all up. Both sides are pinned. So now she's getting this side straight. And she's pulling it taut or cranking it so that it's nice and taut. Okay, so now I've pinned the top on to the leader. And we will then line it up by rolling this leader, and the top of the quilt top will be aligned, and then a stitching line will be added. Okay, we've rolled the top up, the whole top up, and then she's lifted this bar up higher because the next step is to put the batting under there. And is it called floating the batting?
I don't know what it's called.
Another place I used to go to, she called it floating the batting, although you put it in and then put the top over it, and then we'll do a seam up at the top. Kelly has put these clamps on to hold the batting to the backing and tighten them up, and I'm sure they'll be adjusted throughout the stitching. And there she's clamping the other side and pulling the lines snug. She has a hanging sling type basket that's underneath the frame where the excess batting goes. The big roll is hers. I'm not using from hers. I brought my own. And you can see that all the wrinkles are out of the batting. Nice and smooth.
There it is.
Now Kelly is pulling up the bobbin from the bottom. Okay. lining the quilt top up.
And you're supposed to just be able to line it up and keep it there. But I find that if I pin it in a few places, that it stays better. To say edge to edge.
We're looking for a design on her computer. I kind of like daisies. We can find one that looks like a daisy or a group of daisies. So I've chosen this one, and we will change the sizing for the quilt. How big is that going to be then?
This is just measuring the quilt.
Oh, you're just measuring. So she's gone back and forth on the quilt to measure it for the computer. So it will stitch until we have to roll it again.
Repeat design tab.
Okay, so I've decided to use this design. We're going to try and make it fit the quilt. So she's
No, I still can't get that to
adjusting the machine, the computer, to
there.
have this design, which will fill the entire quilt. The Blossom Cluster is the name of the design.
Because if
All right, there it is.
then we say.
It's going on its own. It's following the design. There you can start to see the design in the white thread, or in the white space,
You can see the deep.
because it's a light pink. But in the colorful area, the design isn't really going to be seen, but it will be felt. It took us about 2 hours to load it and choose a design. Now I'm going to see how long it actually takes to quilt the whole quilt. It's 12:48 right now. We probably started it at about 12:30, so I'm going to start from 12:30 and see how long it takes the machine to finish quilting the quilt, barring any issues. So the design stopped at the top edge of the quilt, and now we're realigning it, and you can see that the top row is a different color than the rest of it. And now she's turning it to realign it.
Straighten that out.
This is called drag and drop. The needle is down, and then you roll it up, and you tighten up this
Side clamps on.
one and put the side clamps on. She pressed drop on the computer and raised the needle, and now has moved the machine to the far edge. And now she's bringing up the bobbin again,
And I push resume.
and it goes. It stops so she can cut the thread on the bobbin. And here we go again. It's pretty amazing. This machine goes on its own. Now we're going through the same process as we did before. This will be the third row, which is about a little below the center of the actual quilt. So we'll probably have at least 2 more rows to go after this one. We're just about to the end. Okay.
Okay.
It is now 2:22. So it's 2 hours to quilt this quilt. But I'm going to go back and do a few things by hand where I feel that it needs to be filled in a little bit more, and maybe go around the peace sign design and see where it looks. Here's what it looks like close up. All the little flowers. The quilt is quilted with Kelly's help and her computerized long arm, and I did a little bit of my own. So it's all quilted. Now I have to trim it and put the binding on. That'll come in a couple of days, but she'll receive her quilt for her graduation. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Comment, share, and subscribe. Stay crafty, smart, creative, and safe. And thanks for watching.